Just as the flexible arch of a bow releases an arrow into the air, we should all similarly move forward with solid presence and quick determination. The Japanese martial art of Kyudo emphasizes that if archers maintain a truthful and virtuous spirit towards all people and all things in relation to goodness, beautiful outcomes will naturally be obtained. As we take a moment to honor those who came before us, we make it a point to carry on the fruits of their labor, as the Hompa Honganji Mission of Hawaii proudly introduces the 2016 Living Treasures of Hawaii. Lillian Yajima, Dr. Dennis Ogawa, Paul Breese, Sooriya Kumar, and Dr. Puakea Nogelmeier. Lillian Yajima receives inspiration through the gift of time. She realizes how precious of a commodity it is.
Because I'm lucky, I have my health, I have a nice home. You know, how nice if I can make somebody else happy. You know why? I feel this way. I'm already 95, so every day that someone, I don't use any terms, someone up above gives me an added day and I can do something for someone or something, I feel so grateful that I got that extra day, you know.
Yajima is on a mission that began with her mother that she now mightily carries on.
For instance, I was asked to be the school editor. Now, I being a teacher, I know I would have, if I was asked to have somebody in my class be the editor, I probably would have encouraged the best student. It's easier, I would say, oh, how about you taking the job? Because I know you can do it. Hanaholi is different. They asked me. I said no, because I know I wasn't capable. I could be a writer, you know, but not an editor. They believed you can. So I guess that's where I got the idea. You can. You've got to try, but if someone has confidence in you and believes in you, you can do it. I think that's what most of the things I've done has that in the back of my mind, I think, that don't say I can't do it. You're going to try your best. So I've kind of followed it all through my life now. And things that seemed impossible, I try to tackle. Every child should be encouraged, you know, to their maximum and give them the confidence.
Yajima looks forward to checking off even more items from her to-do list. Dr. Dennis Ogawa recognizes the true value of storytelling within cultural backgrounds.
The story of the Issei or the Nisei or Japanese Americans or any ethnic group is basically a story of how to be a better human being. How it's not to glorify an ethnic group. It's not to say how special an ethnic group is. It's not to say how this ethnic group suffered. You know, it's more. What do all these stories mean to help us be more humane in outlook, to help us get along with each other? And so my classes, and what I cherish most, and what I try to instill in my students, you know, and they help me, you know, understand it as well with their own stories, is not so much that all these things happen to people, but how do people handle it? It's more the insight, you know, and you start with what's within you, which of course are certain values, certain core sort of feelings that have been taught, and it has been brought down from family to family to family. And if you have kids, this is what you want to teach your kids as well. And that's why I'm so indebted, to the Issei, because they were the ones who really instilled these core values.
Ogawa honors the ebb and flow of knowledge that is passed between students and teachers.
There was another teacher who really, he spoke up for me in that I did something in class which no one else did. And I thought I was going to flunk the course because I went against the mainstream. But then he made me stand up, and I thought he was going to nail me, but it was just the opposite. He told me I was his hero. And then the other people who set the pattern that I went up against, he condemned them. In fact, he screamed at them. So it was like a turning point in my life, that in some situations I got to follow my gut feeling. And those things just never leave you. And teachers played a very pivotal role in terms of guiding me on a certain path. And so I think it was just kind of natural that I always thought teaching was a noble profession. And coming to Hawaii convinced me that it was. And it was actually, I feel kind of selfish because I've learned more from my students than I could ever teach my students. Students first. That's what it's all about.
Ogawa is a champion of cultural storytelling and core values. Paul Breese knows how important it is to form relationships through basic interaction. This idea transcends well past external limitations.
Right now, one of the things I'm doing is designing areas at the zoo, two specifically, proposals that will enable the zoo visitors to have a greater degree of interaction with the animals. One is a platform that people can use to feed giraffes. And that is one of the most rewarding relationships. When a kid goes up to the giraffe level and feeds the giraffes, that's an experience that feels his tongue, feels his nibbling on the kid's hands to get little bits of kernels of corn. That interaction is so rewarding, and it builds on just the sight of the animal. The sight is important, but the personal contact is without barriers. It's by far a greater degree of intimacy.
Breese believes in damage control and works through proactive measures.
Would see what was happening, and we learned more and more about the damage that this introduced snake was doing on Guam, and the great difficulty of eliminating it. Probably impossible, like to eliminate, the same as rats and cockroaches. You can control them, their population, but eliminating them as a breeding population totally is virtually impossible. So my friends and I established a group called the Brown Tree Snake Control Group, which was made up of biologist here at the zoo. I was retired from the zoo at that time. Biologist here at the zoo. Biologists, reptile experts from Southern California and Texas. And we set up a small grant that was offered by the Hawaiian Electric Company. And we went out to Guam, reviewed the material that was available on the snakes there, and most important thing, met the government officials, including the governor of Guam. Based on this, our recommendations were that a governmental agency take over the responsibility of controlling the populations of the brown tree snakes, and particularly preventing them from getting on airplanes on Guam and ships and coming to Hawaii.
Breese works tirelessly to see that man and nature can achieve their full symbiotic potential. Sooriya Kumar gets excited when he thinks about what he can share with others. He appreciates being able to differentiate between wants and needs.
You know, if you want to talk about art, our life, our journey is an art. Our whole life is an art. And also our nature. Because you see, my artwork is only nature, ocean life, especially nature. When I want to talk about nature, I'm a very good duplicator. I cannot say I'm an artist or sculptor. The creator, who are greater energy, creator to everything. I'm very connected to the nature because we are nature. We are made out of 5 elements. Nature is made out of 5 elements. We are so connected to the nature. We are part of nature. Without the nature, we cannot live. Without the trees, without the flowers, we cannot live. I see the beauty of the flower, the light is coming through. How beautiful the color. When you look at it, that is my art. Our whole life is an art. How? Like a potter, you make the pottery, you mold it, you make it nice, you make it very beautiful. And that is an art, the same way our life too, we make our life the way we want.
Sooriya appreciates the beauty of art in its truest form. He finds content in the rhythmic pounding used to create fine masterpieces.
And it is a great blessing. I appreciate what I have. I'm not looking more and more and more. I'm appreciating, I have gratitude. What I have, I can share it. There is no hesitation in sharing. So whenever I need something, I sit, meditate, it comes, it goes. If that doesn't come, it's okay, all good. You know, living in a different way. And this is my life. Otherwise, I could have accumulated all these things. What do I do? No. It's better to give, help, receive. I'm not really not attached to it. I want to tell you that. You see, that is what we learn, we grow, we get to know each other more beyond than any other thing. Now when I'm talking to you, I'm talking about my heart, my experience, or our experience, or our journey, or my journey. It's all, we are connected in our soul. It's like a layer of soul. We are all connected. You see, in this way, I feel I'm very grateful for that, you know, to meet people, to share. More than anything else, I'm not thinking about anything else. I'm just sharing from my heart, my experience. That's it.
Sooriya is fueled by the basic simplicity of existence. Dr. Puakea Nogelmeier savors the reward of living in the present moment and remains fully aware of how fleeting it really is.
They brought me in to talk to, there's a Hawaiian group at the university where they bring together graduates, MA and PhD candidates from all different fields whose fields aren't related to Hawaiian culture. And they try and bring them to, I'm not sure what all the goals of the group is, but they go out and do cultural things. So they brought me in to teach them a chant. They were going up on Mauna Kea. So I came in and talked story. And so I taught them a chant. And I gave them the words, and we walked through the pronunciation. Then I said, and this is the leo, so just follow me. And they said, well, can we tape this? And I said, no, you can't. I said, well, we might do it wrong. And I said, well, I didn't bring you like the Oh Holy chant. So I brought you one that I composed. So if you do it wrong, I could be offended, but you won't be struck by lightning, So it's okay. So I actually told them sort of a short kumukahi story about, and I said a really important difference to grasp is that whether you're in law school or you're in biology or whichever field you're in, if you forget a data bit, you can go back to the book and get it. I said the thing about culture is that it's live and in front of you, and oftentimes you can't retrieve the experience. So this is an experience. Listen to my voice, do the best you can to mimic it. And that's the lesson that goes with this.
Nogelmeier is a cultural archaeologist who deciphers the past in order to shape the future.
The idea of, we dived into the newspapers like treasure hunters, really for a century. The pieces would be plucked out and it's only in the last 10, 15 years that we went in as geographers. And we mapped what was in there, and that made a huge difference, because it set them aside as, apart from everything else, as such a huge repository. It's the largest native language repository in the Western world, just the newspapers. It equals like 1.5 million pages, and we had touched 2 or 3%, and the rest of it sat in the dust because it moved into English. So they became less familiar and less intelligible, really. So we dived in as geographers and sort of mapped how much was there. And now in the last, it's 5-10 years, we've gone in as archaeologists. And now we're really able to pull out whole blocks and make context and make it make sense.
Nogelmeier embodies wisdom and compassion while understanding the challenges of the human condition. Just as an arrow relies on sturdy hands, it is equally important for us to remember our past and honor those who came before us. This idea is evident in each one of our honorees, who all embody a resolute drive while remaining fluid to the elements of change. We are grateful to Lillian Yajima, Dr. Dennis Ogawa, Paul Breese, Sooriya Kumar, and Dr. Puakea Nogelmeier for serving as steady bows as we look towards the future with fully aimed determination.